Alrighty, what I'm about to do is change a hub bearing assembly, call it wheel bearings or hub bearings, assembly on a Pontiac Grand Prix. And it's pretty much the same on most all cars. Alrighty. So what you want to do first is take your tire off, of course, jack it up, which I've already done. Take your tire off, put it on a jack stand, as you can see, for support, safety first. But prior to that, you want to pop the cap off, and you want to break the hub bolt loose. All right, and I'll have a picture. I believe this is a 34, 33. Let me double check. It is actually a 34 millimeter. All right. I can't find my 34. It's in there somewhere, but I used the 35 to break it loose. Okay. And it's lefty loosey, righty tighty. So as you're facing the rim, turn to the left and it loosens it. The best way to do it is take a pry bar for leverage, right? You can do it with the car jacked up, but if your 34 millimeter fits into the hub after you take your center cap off, then you can break it loose while the tire is on, and then take your lug nuts off after jacking it up and take your tire off. And breaker bar for me is an old jack handle I have. So I put that on there, right? I take the end of it like that, and it gives you leverage to break it loose. Once it's broke loose, you actually can take it off by hand. Okay? Well, with hand strength. All right. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to need a jack, a 14 millimeter, your hub bearing, of course. You're going to need your lug nut to take the lug nuts off, lug nut tool. You're going to need 15 millimeter. So the tools for this job is a jack stand, your lug nut wrench, a 34 millimeter for your hub bearing bolt, 15 millimeter wrench, 15 millimeter socket, or either or. The caliper bolts is a 15 millimeter. There's two top and bottom. I'll have a picture to come in here. Two top and bottom. And also the two 15 millimeter caliper bracket bolts. Okay. And of course, can't do it without having a brand new hub assembly. All right, this is one without ABS, so we have it. All right, we have that, as you can see, brand new hub assembly. All right, so I already got the tire off. I already broke the lug nuts, the hub bearing bolt loose. I've already broke the 15 millimeters to the caliper bolts, And I've already broke loose the caliper bracket bolts, which is also a 15 millimeter. All right, so what you want to do, the best thing to get these off is take a wrench, right? And you don't want to apply too much pressure. Hit it with your hand or smack it with a hammer and it'll break it loose, and then you can actually finish the rest of the way. And actually it's down. So actually you would take it like this, and if your hand is rough like mine, you can just tap it. Bam. Same thing with the bottom. Same thing with the caliper the caliper bracket bolts. You know what I mean? Got them loose. So what you want to do is go ahead and start to see how long it takes me to do this. This is all in real time. All right. Let's take the brake caliper bolts are loose. And it's best if you put the bolts back in like they came out. So this would be the top one, and this would be the bottom one. So I just set them down. Top one to the left of the bottom one. All right, there we go. Set them down. Then what you want to do is go ahead and let me grab a screwdriver. Screwdriver is handy for this job as well. I don't know if you can see that. I put it in before the caliper piston. Just push it back a little bit. Should come right off. Another good thing to have is a hanger or something. And you loop the hanger in there, or a bungee cord to hold it up so you don't tear up your brake line. So I don't know where my bungee cords is, and I'm not trying to waste time. So what I'll do, you also can just take it. I suggest y'all get a bungee cord, a hanger or something, but I'm just gonna make sure it's secure to where it doesn't fall. As long as you do that, you're fine. All right. So I have the caliper bolts off. Let me take my front and rear pads. So I'll put the rear up front, back, top up front, or front, up front. Take my 15 millimeter, and then I'll have a photo in here of this, the caliper bolts. The caliper bracket bolts. All right. And there's two of those. Could have used my air tools. It's just like, I don't feel like it. Alright. Do this the same way. Try to put the bolts back in the same spot they came out of, if at all possible. And it fell off. Cute. Alright, so you set your caliper bracket off to the side. You take your brake caliper off. Set it to the side. Also, I believe you have 3 bolts on the hub assembly itself. I believe those are 1/2 inch, I believe. All right. Yep, 13 millimeter. Take. You might have to use something else. I have rough hands, so preferably a deep well. All right, 13 millimeter. At least for the top, because you have to go above the axle. All right. One thing you do not want to do is strip these bolts. Because it'll be so hard to get the hub assembly off. So just take your time. If you want, put a little WD-40 or some other form of lubricant. All right, got that one. Try to find a short 13 for the bottom. All right, he found my short 13 for the bottom. Makes it easier. It's not going to allow me to do it because of the hub assembly. Wow. Alrighty, well, guess I got to use the long one. And also use the pry bar for that. Proper position. All right. Seems like she don't want to cooperate. Let me. I know what I'm gonna do. All right, hold up for a second. Alrighty, running out of time on my camera, so take 13. Yeah, I believe this is the original one. And start the car up or turn the wheel the other way to get the back side. Alrighty. Okay. Break the water, break it loose. Finish the rest by hand. Alrighty. And a hammer would be good as well. Alright, so take a hammer. Should work the rust loose. Alright. So what you want to do at that point is go ahead and get your hub assembly off. I mean the hub nut off. Got air tools, I just didn't feel like bringing them out. Alright. And being that this is the, I'm not replacing the axle, you can put the bolt on, the nut on backwards. Or it don't want to go on backwards, but it will. Put that back on there, right? And give it a smack that loosens it up out the spline. Alright. See those little grooves in there? Okay. got to finesse it a little bit with a hammer and screwdriver. Break up the rust. And there it is. Alrighty. And there you have it. Then you reverse the process, right? I need to clear my camera up. Now what you want to do is make sure you get the splines lined up with here. All right, sorry about that. I had to go clear my memory chip. It's full of video content for my channel. I just got to process it. So I just had to clear some of it off of it. But I have the 13mm 3 bolts on the new hub assembly. Here's the old one. Okay. I have the axle nut tightened down, snug. So what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and put the brake rotor back on. Brake rotor goes back on. All right, you want to put the caliper bracket back on. All right, which is a 15mm. Everything is basically done in reverse from you taking it off. You just basically reverse the process. And before you know it, your hub assembly will be done. Again, 15mm. Right, get that snug tight. All right. Get your brake hardware back on there. Put your brakes back in, your pads back in, front and rear. All right. Okay, put your caliper back on. And again, that's a 13 millimeter as well. No, actually, that's a 15, excuse me. That's the 15. Alrighty. And it's done. All you have to do now is put your tire back on, lug nuts down, lug nuts bolted back on, and you're ready to go. This is TJ, the handyman, the DIY guy, and whatever else you want to call me. And this job is a wrap. 2007 Pontiac Grand Prix hub assembly, wheel hub assembly. Catch you on the next video.